Hi, welcome to Make It with Tim. I'm Tim, and today I'm going to show you how I saved £20 per door when I got my new carpets fitted. The scenario: you've got brand new gorgeous carpets. The carpet fitters are taking the doors off because the carpets, they're now thicker than your old ones and the door just doesn't move. What do? You're left with a door. You're left with beautiful carpets and a door frame. How do I make the thing fit? So we've had some gorgeous new carpets fitted with lovely thick underlay. It's beautiful on the feet. Problem is that the door we had doesn't now fit into the door frame. I've got to take some off the bottom to make it fit and move beautifully without dragging across this new carpet of ours. Now, some carpet fitters will charge you to put the doors back on. Our carpet fitters, we're going to put each door back on for 20 quid each. I didn't want to spend that 20 quid. I've got other things to spend that 20 quid on. So, I'm going to show you how to make this door the right size for that. First things first, if you're really lucky, your carpet fitters will have made a mark on the bottom of the door, showing exactly where you need to cut to make it the right size. This door doesn't have that mark, so I've got to work it out some other way. That's where we get our tape measure. We're going to take our tape measure and we're going to put one end at the bottom resting gently on the carpet. We're going to look at the other end up here next to where the door frame is. Now this one is 2 meters and 3 centimeters, and I've checked both sides of the door and they're both the same, so I'm lucky. Our door's nice and level. It's going to be an easy one. If I made this door 2 meters and 3 centimeters, then the door would sit on the carpet, and as it moved it would brush that carpet. So I'm actually going to make the door 2 meters 2.5 centimeters, and that way I should have half a centimeter clearance, so it moves beautifully over the carpet without dragging, but also without leaving a massive gap underneath. When I took the door outside, I made sure that my sawhorses had some protection on top. In this case I used carpet. It meant that when I put my door on top of them, the paintwork didn't get scratched. I then measured from the top of the door down to the bottom on both sides. In my case it was 2 meters and 2.5 centimeters. I then put some masking tape on the underside of the end of the door that I was going to cut. I did this because I'm going to use a plunge saw to take off the 1/2 centimeter at the bottom of my door, and I didn't want any breakout on the underside as the blade cut through. I then put my guide rail in place, line it up to the marks already made, and cut. You can use other tools for this job, such as a hand plane or an electric plane. You can also use a circular saw with a homemade guide rail. I'll be showing you how to do this in a later video. Once it's made, I will put a link in the bottom so you can go and check this out if you want to. I used a plunge saw because I had it to hand and it gave me a nice straight cut. Also, I was taking off 1/2 centimeter rather than a few shavings. I've just trimmed the door. I've cut it down to the measurement of 2 meters and 2.5 centimeters. Brought it upstairs, matched the hinges up with the cutouts on the frame and the holes there, and what I've noticed is that the door is now actually sitting on the carpet. So that's actually no good for us, because when I move the door it's going to drag across the carpet. So I'm going to take it back downstairs, take off another 1/2 centimeter and repeat the process until I get the right cut for the door to be just above the carpet and no drag. Again, I measured both sides and used my plunge saw to take off another 1/2 centimeter. I've trimmed the door down again. I've taken another 1/2 centimeter off and I've put it in place. I've got my flat bar underneath the door, and now it's time to fix it to the door frame. So I've got my screwdriver, got my screws. I'm using 4x30s to fix this in, just a generic wood screw, nothing special. I now need to make sure the hinge on the door lines up with the cutout in the door frame. To do this, I put a hand on the door to keep it steady and secure, and I put a foot on the flat bar that is underneath the door. And as I press down on the flat bar gently, you'll see that the hinge rises up and now lines up with the cutout. I take my screw, which is a standard 4x30 wood screw. I put it into the centre of the 3 holes in my hinge. I'm going to do this one up and repeat the same for the bottom hinge. Now the reason I only do 1 in each hinge for now is so that I can test and make sure that everything is fine. If I put all 6 in and then discover that it's not working very well, I've got 6 screws to take out and I've just put 6 screws in. If I only put 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom, it saves me a whole load of time. We now have 1 screw in the top hinge, 1 screw in the bottom hinge, and it's time to check to see if the door works. Success. Brilliant. I'm really happy with that. It works exactly as I like it to. There is a slight catch at the very end of its movement, which means that it actually has a slight breaking on the carpet before it hits the wall and saves my paintwork. At some point in the future I'm going to put in a doorstop, but right now this is going to do great for me. All that's left to do is for me to put in 4 more screws and my door's hung and job's done. If you get to this point and your door isn't swinging as you want it to, you just undo the 2 screws, you take it outside or to wherever your plane or plunge saw or whatever you're using to trim your door down are, and you repeat the process until you're happy. We're now done. The door's hung and working beautifully, and into the bargain we've saved ourselves 20 quid. So if you like what you've seen today, please click on the subscribe button below and hit the bell. If you have other ways of hanging doors, comment in the comment section below, and that way other people can share and benefit from your knowledge. Hope to see you in the future, and thank you for joining me.